Hey guys, Karasiv here with another review. This time I'll be reviewing the OtomoNin series San, Surfermaru from Shuriken Sentai Ninninger. This is the third entry in the OtomoNin series, and is thus naturally the third extra OtomoNin who can help the Niningers. But, unlike the other two, he can help both the main Niningers and Star Ninja. So this includes two things: the Surfermaru parts, and the Surfermaru OtomoNin Shuriken. So let's take a look at Surfermaru himself first. So Surfermaru is an interesting case compared to the past two, because while body-wise he has a design that's obviously that of a submarine, what with the oblong shape, the periscope sticking out on the top, and the wheels on the bottom, as well as how the OtomoNin Shuriken, when attached, becomes the rotor. It also has elements of a shark, such as the painted blue eyes, the jagged teeth, here painted in white, and the various fins. So it seems like this Surfermaru here actually is meant to represent all the past aquatic mechs for Super Sentai. So as you can see here, got a painted gold front with the Ninja symbol, of course, while the other two main colors are this nice purple and then some white, with little bits of metallic dark gray thrown in. Like I said before, the OtomoNin Shuriken can attach to the back, and it can roll around, as well as allowing you to spin it as the corkscrew propeller. One interesting feature is that normally it has a not tight lock, but kind of a loose lock when you don't have the Ninja Shuriken attached. But when you plug it in, it basically hits some kind of a switch to release that lock, so you can spin it freely. Looking at the Ninja Shuriken itself, you can see that it has, like the others, a black core, and going along with the body, has a purple colored Shuriken blade. So for this, we've got the core with a picture of a wave in the background, and the symbol here, or the kanji there, is Nami, meaning wave. The Shuriken blade itself is actually pretty interesting, because it has 8 points that go around in this buzzsaw kind of pattern, with the top point being the symbol for Shurikenjin and additionally Bison King surfer. And then you have what will become that face, having some nice metallic green eyes and some jagged teeth going along with the shark sub-motif. Of course, this is removable, but there is no activation switch. Just putting it back on. Get 3 sounds with this. The Shuriken activation. Its attack sound, which naturally is Surfer Ja, and you get a nice surf riff, and then the name announcement. And similarly to the Bison King buggy, you can use these sounds while on here. And of course, we can use this with the Ninja Ichibanto. So now I've got my Ichibanto, Start off, of course, activating the Shuriken. Activating the Waza. And then the Shokan. Next, we'll transform Surfermaru from its OtomoNin mode to its humanoid mode. And that's both simple yet interesting. So start, you're going to take off the Nin Shuriken, set it aside. Then you're actually going to want to take off the front of the submarine by unlatching this part from the bottom, then stemming off from the front. So this is the humanoid mode itself. So transform this, fold down the legs which are attached at a single joint, fold the feet up like so, take what was the periscope and flip it 180 degrees to form the head, and rotate the arms all the way around. But we're not done yet, as this piece now folds up the second pair of wheels, unfolds at the middle to become the Surfermaru board. So, as you can see, we've got a nice flame sticker along here, and 3 different symbols, each representative of the 3 joints that can be used for the different mechs that can attach to it. So in this case, we're going to use this one with the outline of Surfermaru's head. You're going to want to take it like this, plug him on, then get him into a proper surfing pose by tilting his legs back a little bit, and tilting him forward, and turning his head. And there you have Surfermaru in humanoid mode. Though true to his name, Surfermaru does take the form of a surfer here. So taking a look at his head, and see that it has a shuriken design on the forehead. It also has what's not necessarily a scuba mask, but rather a little bamboo pole, which is what pop culture ninjas would use to help breathe underwater. It also got a little shuriken symbol here on the thigh, and then the legs here with the fins on the outside, and little bits of purple on the inside. It certainly is nice that you get a little bit of posability here, with being able to move the legs, the knees, and, well, rather the knees and the waist, as well as the arms and head. So you don't have to have him in a boring standing pose like this. You can actually have him in a more proper surfing pose. And if you want, you can kind of move the arms around too. And of course, roll them along. So it's certainly a more interesting humanoid mode than Maru and UFO Maru. Now after that, we can combine them. First, we'll combine them with Shurikenjin. So, as usual, to repair Shurikenjin, first, remove the Nin Shuriken from the top. Take Shurikenmaru out of the pilot's seat. Fold him up into his arm mode. Take the dump Maru arm, move that to the back, and replace it with the Shinobi Maru arm. Then, take Surfermaru, fold him into a sitting position, actually swing the handles so they're facing forward. Next, place them in the pilot seat. Lift up the handles, or lift up the arms, and put them into the hands. Next, take the board. You're going to flip out this tab next to the silhouette of Shurikenjin's head. And take Shurikenjin and attach it to the peg on the bottom of the Bionmaru foot, like so. And finally, take the OtomoNin Shuriken, fold down the face, and attach it on top. Moving back a little more, there you have Shurikenjin Surfer. So this is a pretty interesting combination, as is the first one where Shurikenjin is riding on top of something instead of getting a new weapon. Though this is perhaps its one little flaw, but I'll get into that in a bit. First, starting off with the new head and new pilot. You can see the new face up close, as well as its new symbol, which is a surfboard with a shuriken on top. And then the other new feature, besides Surfermaru, is the board. Now here's where I say it's a little bit flawed. The thing is that this idea works for Surfermaru himself because he is small and light, so he doesn't weigh down the board too much. But as you can really see here, Shurikenjin is too big for this board, and as such, because it's only connected by one foot, it has a tendency to wobble a bit. And if you're not careful, it can potentially fall over. The other thing is that it's not even a very strong connection. If you try to lift up Shurikenjin Surfer by Shurikenjin himself, the board will actually just fall off. That's how weak of a connection it is. Me personally, I would have designed it so that this could become a shield or some kind of a weapon. As you can see, it does have the size to do that, and would have been a better application than to once again use it as a board. And the peg here doesn't even stay out that much. At the very least, it is an interesting looking combination, but it's not the only one. Next, we'll take a look at Bison King Surfer. So since Bison King is a simpler robo than Shurikenjin, there's going to be less prep work to do. In fact, the only thing you have to do to prepare Bison King is simply to remove the top assembly with Bionmaru and the OtomoNin Shuriken. This doesn't have anywhere else to go, so we actually just have to set it aside. Next, take the board and have this piece folded out like that. You're going to attach it to Bison King's right foot as opposed to Shurikenjin's left foot. Which is a little bit tough to do. And once again, be careful so that it doesn't fall over. Next, take Surfermaru, fold the legs back one, arms forward one, and head down one. So it's like this. And turn it to the side, attach it on top like this. That's gripping the handles from the side as well. Then, like before, fold up the face, and attach it on top. And there you have Bison King Surfer. And that's the other disappointment about Surfermaru, is that for whatever reason they decided to not include a sound for Bison King Surfer, even though with Shurikenjin Surfer it uses the peg on top of Dump Maru, whereas with Bison King Surfer it uses the peg on the shoulder. And what they really could have done was just switch it to the other shoulder and have a second tab be pressed to activate a sound for Bison King Surfer. So honestly, it seems like this is kind of an afterthought in the grand scheme of things, even though at the same time they did attach the pegs to the shoulders or to the elbows to allow it to do this, as well as that second port on the board with Bison King's symbol. So it's very strange, and unfortunately Bison King Surfer doesn't have the same kind of impact as Shurikenjin Surfer because of how the replacement OtomoNin goes just on top of the head and just changes that top part instead of going in the center. And for here you still have the bull head in the center, whereas you got the new Surfermaru head on top and the board on bottom. At the very least, Bison King Surfer is a bit more stable than Shurikenjin Surfer because of the flat feet. In fact, it actually will hold the board attached to it, unlike Shurikenjin Surfer, where it just falls off. So it's the kind of thing where if you're going to display one of them with the board, I would say display Bison King Surfer as opposed to Shurikenjin Surfer, because it's less likely to fall down. Overall, I'll admit, Surfermaru is a bit of a mixed bag for me. While I definitely like the design, I think it's certainly the most creative out of the OtomoNin so far, at least as far as the extra OtomoNin go. I do feel like there were some missed opportunities and just some bad ideas here. The first, of course, being how it doesn't really work that well with Shurikenjin, even though that's the main combination. Like I said, the surfboard thing works for Surfermaru because he's small and light. He stays on the board just fine. You don't have to worry about him falling off or anything because he is very small and he has this peg that's connected that just goes all the way on top of a solid connector that's permanently sticking out, instead of these ones that have to be folded out, where this could have been used as some sort of a shield or weapon instead. The second thing being Bison King Surfer. While it is cool that Bison King can combine with Surfermaru, and it is cool that it seems to work a little bit better in terms of the surfboard because it has a better connection, I definitely do think that they could have figured out some kind of way to actually program in a sound for Bison King Surfer. So honestly, this is the kind of thing where whether or not you buy it is up to you. I do think it's fun, but it is definitely flawed, so really, this is the kind of thing where it's a take or give. If you're collecting the OtomoNin to go along with Shurikenjin, then yes, I can recommend it, but if you're going to display Shurikenjin Surfer, don't put it on the board, just because I would not recommend just taking chances with that potentially falling over and stuff breaking. If you have Bison King, I'd recommend it even less. Even though I do like that combination, it doesn't work completely without its own sound. So really, like I said, in the end, whether or not you buy it is up to you. Thanks for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and share my Facebook page at facebook.com/KRX50, as well as my channel for more videos. And for now, this is KRX50, writing off.